In a picturesque suburban neighborhood, the sun shines brightly on tree-lined streets, where families have settled into their cozy homes. This tight-knit community is known for its charm, but it's also governed by a homeowners association, affectionately referred to as the HOA. While the HOA aims to maintain peace and order, it often stirs up lively debates over its eccentric rules and regulations. Among the residents is Karen, a passionate vegan who has taken it upon herself to advocate for animal rights and environmental sustainability. With her reusable shopping bags and a firm belief in plant-based living, she stands out in this idyllic setting. Her dedication to her lifestyle extends beyond personal choice. Karen feels it is her duty to ensure that her neighbors align with her values. Karen's influence in the neighborhood has grown over time, and she has become known for her vocal opinions at HOA meetings. Many residents admire her commitment but often find themselves rolling their eyes at her zealous demands. She frequently voices her grievances about meat cooking wafting through the air, claiming it not only offends her sensibilities, but also harms the environment. As she passionately speaks out against barbecues and meat-centered meals, some neighbors nod in agreement, while others feel an uncomfortable tension brewing. This dynamic creates an atmosphere of division. On one side are those who share Karen's views and support her efforts to promote veganism. On the other side are residents who believe in freedom of choice, relishing their weekend grills and backyard cookouts. The contrast between Karen's strong convictions and the desires of her neighbors begins to simmer, much like the steaks they fire up on summer evenings. It is within this backdrop of culinary conflict that our story unfolds, a community caught between Karen's fervent advocacy for veganism and the residents' love for cooking meat. The stage is set for a clash of ideals that will test friendships and ignite creativity in ways no one could have anticipated. As tensions rise over dinner plates, a group of neighbors hatches a plan not only to celebrate their culinary preferences, but also to honor Karen in a way she least expects. What they don't realize is that their upcoming barbecue party will become more than just a meal. It will be a turning point for the entire neighborhood. Karen's demands have become the talk of the neighborhood, as she continues to voice her strong opinions about meat consumption with an intensity that leaves many residents bewildered. During HOA meetings, she often stands up, hands on her hips, and passionately argues that the smell of grilled burgers and hot dogs wafting through the air is not just a personal annoyance for her, but a significant environmental issue. "We need to think about our carbon footprint," she exclaims, shaking her head disapprovingly at neighbors who merely want to enjoy their weekend barbecues. Her requests have escalated from polite suggestions to outright demands. "I propose we establish a meat-free zone in our community," she states with unwavering conviction. Some neighbors chuckle at her audacity, while others exchange glances of disbelief. How could one person dictate what others can cook in their own backyards? Yet Karen is undeterred. She believes that her lifestyle choice should be embraced by all, and she feels it is her responsibility to educate those around her on the supposed dangers of meat consumption. The tension grows when Karen distributes flyers promoting veganism throughout the neighborhood. These colorful papers detail the health benefits of a plant-based diet and include statistics that emphasize the environmental impacts of livestock farming. While some appreciate her enthusiasm for healthy living, many find her approach overbearing and intrusive. It's hard to enjoy a summer evening when you're constantly reminded that your dinner choices are harming the planet, one resident remarks during a casual gathering. Karen's fervor reaches its peak when she decides to approach families one-on-one, expressing her dismay over upcoming barbecues and urging them to reconsider their menus. "Why not try a delicious tofu burger instead?" she suggests earnestly, oblivious to the eye rolls and awkward smiles that follow. Some neighbors attempt to engage in friendly dialogue, explaining that they respect her choices but wish for theirs to be respected too. However, Karen often turns these conversations into impassioned lectures about animal rights and sustainability. As complaints rise and frustration simmers beneath the surface, it becomes increasingly clear that Karen's demands are creating a rift in the community. Her insistence on banning meat introduces an unexpected conflict in what was once a harmonious neighborhood, setting the stage for a showdown of culinary ideals. Little do they know that this very tension will spark a creative response that no one saw coming. A barbecue party in Karen's honor, aimed at bridging the divide and perhaps even winning her over. As Karen's demands grow increasingly outrageous, the community finds itself at a crossroads. The tension in the neighborhood is palpable, with many residents feeling torn between their desire to respect Karen's passionate advocacy for veganism and their love for traditional backyard barbecues. Conversations around dinner tables turn into debates, with some neighbors supporting Karen's call for a meat-free environment, while others staunchly defend their right to grill burgers and ribs in their own backyards. A small group of residents, frustrated by the escalating situation, begins to discuss how they can respond to Karen's demands without causing further discord. They value the sense of community that has always defined their neighborhood and are wary of letting this culinary conflict create lasting divisions. "We can't let one person dictate what we can cook or eat," says Lisa, a longtime resident known for her legendary BBQs. "But we also don't want to hurt her feelings." Inspired by a mix of humor and determination, Lisa proposes an unconventional idea. Why not throw a barbecue party in Karen's honor? The suggestion catches on quickly among the group, who see it as an opportunity to celebrate their shared love for grilling while also acknowledging Karen's commitment to her beliefs. "Let's show her that we can appreciate her values while still enjoying our own," one neighbor suggests enthusiastically. Plans take shape as the group brainstorms ways to make the event inclusive. They decide to feature both classic grilled meats and a selection of delicious vegan options, ensuring that everyone feels welcome. They envision a vibrant gathering where neighbors can come together not just to eat, but to engage in open conversations about their differing perspectives. Word spreads quickly throughout the neighborhood about the upcoming barbecue party. Reactions vary. Some residents express excitement, eager to enjoy an afternoon filled with food and camaraderie, while others remain skeptical about how Karen will react to being celebrated in such a manner. "What if she takes it the wrong way?" one neighbor worries, recalling past confrontations with Karen over her dietary preferences. Despite these concerns, enthusiasm continues to build as preparations begin. Invitations are sent out, decorations are planned, and recipes are exchanged. Residents look forward to coming together for a day of fun and connection, hoping that by inviting Karen into this joyful atmosphere, they might bridge the gap that has formed between them. As anticipation grows for the barbecue party, the community realizes that they have turned a contentious situation into an opportunity for dialogue and understanding, a chance to foster unity amid diversity in their culinary choices. As the excitement builds for the upcoming barbecue party, the planning phase kicks into high gear. Lisa takes the lead, rallying her fellow neighbors to divide tasks and brainstorm ideas. They gather at her house one evening, armed with notebooks and enthusiasm, ready to create a memorable event that honors Karen while showcasing their culinary preferences. The first order of business is the menu. The group agrees that it must be diverse enough to cater to everyone's tastes. "Let's do a classic barbecue with burgers and hot dogs," Lisa suggests, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. "But we should also have delicious vegan options that Karen will love." The team quickly begins compiling a list of dishes. Grilled vegetable skewers, black bean burgers, and a colorful quinoa salad are among the first ideas. They also decide to include a variety of sides, think potato salad, corn on the cob, and fresh fruit platters, to ensure there's something for everyone. Next, they discuss logistics. Where will they hold the party? After some debate, they settle on the local park, which has ample space for grilling and picnic tables. It's a neutral territory that feels welcoming for all neighbors, including Karen. "We can set up a big banner that says, 'Welcome to the neighborhood barbecue,'" one neighbor proposes, envisioning a festive atmosphere that encourages everyone to let loose. As preparations continue, they realize they need to send out invitations. To keep things lighthearted and fun, Lisa crafts an invitation that playfully teases both sides of the dietary divide. "Join us for a barbecue that celebrates our love for food, meat lovers, and plant-based enthusiasts alike. Let's come together in the spirit of community." The invitations are distributed via email and social media, creating buzz throughout their neighborhood. To enhance the festive vibe, they decide on decorations. Bright tablecloths, balloons, and string lights will add color to the park setting. The group also plans fun activities. Games like cornhole and frisbee will keep everyone entertained, while a designated area for sharing stories or discussing food philosophies can encourage open dialogue. As the day of the barbecue approaches, excitement mingles with nerves. Will Karen appreciate their efforts? Will she see this as a genuine gesture of goodwill or as an affront to her beliefs? The neighbors hope that by putting thought into every detail, from the inclusive menu to the cheerful decorations, they can create an atmosphere of unity that transcends dietary differences. With everything in place, anticipation reaches a fever pitch as the community prepares for what promises to be an unforgettable gathering. A chance not just to enjoy good food, but to foster understanding and connection among neighbors from all walks of life. As the day of the barbecue party approaches, Karen catches wind of the plans through a neighbor who casually mentions the event while discussing the upcoming weekend. Initially, she feels a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. "Are they really throwing a barbecue to celebrate me?" she exclaims, her eyebrows furrowing as she processes the idea. A surge of emotions washes over her. On one hand, she appreciates the effort to include her in a community event. On the other hand, she can't shake the feeling that this gathering may be more of a mockery than a celebration. The thought of meat sizzling on grills fills her with dread. How could her neighbors indulge in something she believes to be harmful? Determined to make her voice heard, Karen decides to confront her neighbors about their plans. She gathers her courage and heads over to Lisa's house, where she knows many of the party organizers are meeting. As she approaches, she rehearses what she intends to say, wanting to strike a balance between expressing her concerns and maintaining an open dialogue. When Karen arrives, she finds the group buzzing with excitement as they finalize preparations. "Hey everyone!" she calls out, trying to keep her tone light. The neighbors greet her warmly, but there's an underlying tension as they sense her determination to address the situation. "Can we talk about this barbecue?" Karen begins, her voice steady but laced with concern. "I just want you all to understand how I feel about meat consumption and its impact on our environment." The room grows quiet as eyes turn toward her, some filled with trepidation while others reflect curiosity. As she continues to express her discomfort with meat-centric gatherings, Karen notices mixed reactions from her neighbors. Some nod in understanding, while others exchange glances that suggest they're unsure how to respond. "We appreciate your passion for veganism, Karen," Lisa interjects gently. "But this barbecue is meant to be inclusive. There will be plenty of delicious vegan options as well." Karen feels torn. Part of her wants to accept their good intentions, yet another part feels compelled to stand firm in her beliefs. "I just worry that having a barbecue where meat is the focus sends the wrong message," she replies earnestly. As the conversation unfolds, it becomes clear that this moment is not just about food, but also about communication and respect for differing lifestyles. The neighbors attempt to reassure Karen that their aim is not to antagonize, but rather to create a space where everyone can enjoy themselves together. Yet in Karen's heart, uncertainty lingers as she grapples with whether or not she can fully embrace this gathering that seems so at odds with her values. With the date drawing near and emotions running high, the stage is set for a pivotal moment that could either bridge divides or deepen them further. The day of the barbecue dawns bright and sunny, with a gentle breeze rustling the leaves in the park. Excitement fills the air as neighbors arrive, armed with delicious dishes and eager smiles. Colorful decorations adorn the picnic area, streamers flutter in the wind, and a vibrant banner reading, "Welcome to our neighborhood barbecue," sets a cheerful tone. Lisa is bustling around, checking on the grills and arranging the tables. She glances at the clock, hoping Karen will show up despite their earlier conversation. The aroma of seasoned burgers, sizzling veggie skewers, and smoky grilled corn wafts through the air, creating an inviting atmosphere that draws in more attendees. Laughter and chatter fill the space as families settle in, children excitedly darting between games and food stations. As guests mingle, they sample various dishes. The black bean burgers and grilled portobello mushrooms receive rave reviews from meat eaters and vegans alike. "These are amazing. Who knew vegan food could be this good?" one neighbor exclaims, while another takes a hearty bite of a traditional cheeseburger, nodding in approval. Suddenly, there's a ripple of anticipation as Karen arrives. Dressed casually but looking slightly apprehensive, She hesitates at the edge of the gathering, taking in the scene before her. Her heart races as she notices the grills puffing out smoke and the unmistakable scent of meat filling the air. Despite her initial reservations, she can't help but feel a tug of curiosity. Lisa spots her first and waves enthusiastically. "Hey, Karen, we're so glad you made it," she calls out, beckoning her to join them. The warm welcome from her neighbors gradually eases Karen's tension. As she walks over, some guests greet her with friendly smiles and even offer her a plate filled with colorful vegan options. Karen tries to remain open-minded as she engages with others. People share stories about their favorite dishes and cooking tips while emphasizing that they've made an effort to include flavors that cater to all preferences. The atmosphere is relaxed and joyful, contrasting sharply with the tension that had previously surrounded Karen's demands. As conversations flow, Karen finds herself drawn into discussions about gardening, healthy eating habits, and even environmental initiatives that she has championed in the past. Laughter erupts as someone shares a humorous mishap involving an overly ambitious grilling experiment gone wrong. Amidst this camaraderie, Karen feels her defenses slowly melting away. Though she still grapples with her conflicting feelings about meat consumption, she begins to appreciate this moment of unity, an opportunity for connection rather than division. As laughter echoes around her and neighbors enjoy each other's company over food, she realizes that maybe this barbecue can be more than just a challenge to her beliefs. It can also be a chance to build bridges in her community. As the barbecue party continues to unfold with laughter and lively conversations, an unexpected guest arrives, causing a stir among the attendees. It's Greg, the neighborhood's self-proclaimed grill master and a notorious meat enthusiast known for his fiery spirit and larger-than-life personality. Dressed in his signature Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops, he strides into the park carrying a massive cooler filled with an assortment of marinated meats ready for grilling. "Did someone say barbecue?" Greg exclaims, his voice booming with excitement. The crowd turns to him, some faces lighting up in recognition, while others reveal a mix of apprehension and curiosity. Karen's heart sinks slightly as she watches Greg approach the grills, knowing his love for cooking meat is well known, and not necessarily appreciated by everyone. "Hey, everyone, I hope you didn't think a little tofu could handle this barbecue," he jokes, flashing a wide grin as he sets down his cooler with a thud. Some neighbors chuckle, appreciating his humor, but Karen feels her anxiety rising again. She had hoped that the gathering would be a chance for harmony, not another confrontation over dietary choices. Lisa quickly approaches Greg, trying to gauge how he plans to contribute to the event. "We're really focusing on inclusivity today, Greg," she says lightly. "We have plenty of vegan dishes available too." "Oh, I know. I brought my famous barbecue ribs and some spicy sausage. Everyone loves those," he replies enthusiastically, oblivious to the tension simmering beneath the surface. As he begins to set up his grill station, Karen watches closely, her mind racing with thoughts about how this sudden twist might impact the atmosphere of the party. Greg's infectious energy draws a crowd as neighbors gravitate toward him, excitedly discussing grilling techniques and sharing their favorite recipes. He begins marinating the meats right there on site, filling the air with tantalizing scents. Despite her misgivings, Karen can't help but observe how much joy Greg brings to everyone around him. Then, something unexpected happens. A few curious attendees approach Karen and invite her over to join them in conversation about plant-based alternatives that can complement Greg's dishes. "You know," one neighbor says thoughtfully, "maybe we can create a meat-free side that pairs well with those ribs." A flicker of inspiration ignites in Karen as she realizes that this moment could serve as a bridge between both culinary worlds. Gathering her courage, she steps forward and suggests using her favorite vegan barbecue sauce to enhance Greg's meats while also offering a variety of flavorful sides for those who prefer plant-based options. To her surprise, Greg listens attentively and responds with enthusiasm. "I'm all for it. Let's make this barbecue unforgettable," he declares, raising his spatula like a trophy. As laughter and chatter resume around them, Karen feels a spark of hope. Perhaps this unexpected guest could turn out to be an ally in promoting understanding and unity within their community after all. The day continues to unfold with new possibilities as neighbors come together in celebration. Not just of food, but of shared experiences and connections that transcend their differences. As the barbecue party progresses, the atmosphere becomes increasingly lively and warm. Laughter echoes throughout the park, and the mingling of neighbors creates a sense of community that had felt strained just weeks earlier. With plates full of food, guests gravitate toward different groups, sparking conversations that flow as freely as the drinks. Karen finds herself engaged in a discussion with Lisa and a few others about the merits of plant-based diets. "I really believe that small changes can make a big difference," she shares passionately. "Even just incorporating more vegetables into our meals can help reduce our collective carbon footprint." Lisa nods, genuinely interested, while another neighbor chimes in with their own experiences of experimenting with vegan recipes. Meanwhile, Greg, ever the charismatic host, stands by his grill, flipping ribs and sausages while engaging with a crowd eager to learn his grilling secrets. He playfully invites anyone interested to take turns at the grill, encouraging them to add their own flair to the dishes. "Come on, who wants to join me? Let's make this a collaborative feast." His enthusiasm is contagious, drawing in both meat lovers and curious vegans who want to see how he cooks. In an unexpected twist, Karen finds herself stepping closer to Greg's grilling station. As she observes him in action, she feels compelled to share her knowledge. "Have you ever tried marinating your veggies in a smoky barbecue sauce?" she suggests, her voice rising above the sizzling sounds. Greg pauses for a moment and grins. "Not yet. I'd love to give that a shot." This sparks an impromptu collaboration as they brainstorm different ways to combine flavors. Greg's renowned meats paired with Karen's vibrant vegetable options. Neighbors gather around them, intrigued by this unexpected partnership that seems to blend their culinary worlds. As conversations continue, other attendees share their own dietary journeys. One neighbor mentions how they've been experimenting with meatless Mondays as a way to explore healthier eating habits, while another discusses their recent shift toward vegetarianism for health reasons. The dialogue flows freely as stories are exchanged, revealing personal motivations behind each person's dietary choices. The atmosphere feels electric with understanding and respect as neighbors listen intently to each other's perspectives. Karen realizes that while her passion for veganism is strong, there's also room for compromise and collaboration. Even those who initially felt hesitant about the gathering begin to contribute their ideas about food and sustainability, creating an open forum where everyone feels valued. The barriers that once separated them seem to dissolve in the warmth of shared laughter and friendly banter. By the end of the day, it's clear that this barbecue has become more than just a meal. It has evolved into a celebration of connection, a space where differences are embraced rather than judged. As Karen looks around at her neighbors enjoying good food together, she feels a renewed sense of hope for her community. A realization that dialogue and understanding can pave the way for harmony even amidst diverse lifestyles. As the afternoon sun begins to dip low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the park, Karen finds herself reflecting on the day's events. The laughter, the shared stories, and the vibrant community spirit have all woven together to create an atmosphere she never expected. Initially apprehensive about attending the barbecue, she now feels a sense of belonging she hadn't realized was missing. Throughout the day, Karen had witnessed something beautiful. Neighbors coming together not just to enjoy food, but to connect with one another on a level that transcended their dietary differences. She had engaged in heartfelt conversations, listened to personal experiences, and even collaborated with Greg on a creative dish that combined both her vegan approach and his love for grilling meat. As she stands near the grill where Greg is preparing a new batch of grilled veggies, having taken her suggestion to heart, Karen feels a shift within herself. The initial tension she felt about being surrounded by cooking meat has transformed into something more profound. Instead of viewing this gathering as an affront to her beliefs, she begins to see it as a celebration of diverse lifestyles coexisting harmoniously. Karen approaches Greg as he flips his latest creation. "You know, I really appreciate how open everyone has been today," she admits, her voice tinged with gratitude. "I didn't expect this kind of acceptance." Greg smiles back at her, wiping sweat from his brow. "That's what it's all about. We're all just trying to enjoy life and share good food." In that moment, Karen realizes that her earlier demands for others to stop cooking meat were rooted in her fear of environmental degradation and animal welfare. But today has shown her that change can happen through dialogue and understanding rather than confrontation. She doesn't have to force others to conform to her views. Instead, she can inspire them through sharing ideas and delicious plant-based alternatives. Feeling inspired, she decides to take charge of a small section of the grill once more. With newfound confidence, she sets out bowls of marinated vegetables alongside some of Greg's meats, inviting everyone to try them together. "I think you'll love these grilled zucchini slices with a touch of my special sauce," she calls out. Neighbors gather around, intrigued by her enthusiasm. As they taste the combination of flavors, compliments flow freely. Karen watches as people enjoy both dishes side by side, laughing and chatting animatedly. In this moment of shared experience, Karen understands that her journey doesn't have to be about pushing others away, but rather about finding common ground. As the sun sets and smiles light up faces around her, she feels a sense of hope blooming, not just for herself but for everyone in the neighborhood. This barbecue has sparked something greater than just a meal. It has ignited a movement toward acceptance and understanding that could foster lasting connections even beyond dietary preferences. As the evening draws to a close and the last rays of sunlight fade into twilight, the barbecue party reaches its natural conclusion. Neighbors begin to pack up their things, but the atmosphere remains alive with laughter and camaraderie. The initial tension that had once divided the community has transformed into a sense of unity that feels almost palpable. Karen stands at the center of it all, reflecting on how the day unfolded. She watches her neighbors engage in animated conversations, sharing recipes and ideas for future gatherings that could celebrate both vegan and non-vegan dishes. It's a refreshing shift from the conflict that had previously defined her interactions with them. She realizes that today wasn't just about food. It was about building bridges through openness and respect. As people linger, some even exchanging phone numbers to plan future potluck dinners, Karen feels a wave of gratitude wash over her. She approaches Lisa, who has been at her side throughout the event, and expresses her appreciation. "Thank you for bringing us together like this," Karen says sincerely. "I needed this more than I realized." Lisa beams, happy to see Karen's change of heart. "We all did. It's amazing what can happen when we open our hearts and minds." In a moment of honesty, Karen reflects on her previous demands and how they stemmed from genuine concerns but were perhaps misguided in their delivery. "I see now that I don't need to impose my beliefs on others," she admits. "Instead, I can share my passion and hope it inspires people to consider alternatives." Lisa nods in agreement, adding, "And we can all learn from each other's experiences." As darkness settles in and fairy lights twinkle overhead, Karen gathers her neighbors for a final moment of connection. "I just want to say how grateful I am for each of you," she begins, her voice steady yet emotional. "Today has shown me that we can celebrate our differences while still finding common ground. Let's keep this spirit alive." Cheers erupt from those gathered as they raise their cups in solidarity. In the days that follow, Karen finds herself more engaged in neighborhood activities, participating in discussions about sustainability while also advocating for plant-based options in a way that encourages curiosity rather than division. She becomes a bridge between the two sides of the culinary spectrum, a voice that promotes understanding without judgment. Looking back, Karen understands that this barbecue was not just an event, but a turning point for her community. It marked the beginning of new friendships and collaborations rooted in respect for one another's choices. This experience taught them all that while dietary preferences might differ, the shared joy of food and community can bring people together in ways they never imagined possible. The seeds of understanding planted during this gathering promise to grow into lasting connections for years to come. In the weeks that follow the barbecue party, the neighborhood feels transformed. The spirit of unity and understanding that blossomed during the gathering continues to thrive, creating an atmosphere filled with collaboration and goodwill. Neighbors who once felt divided over their dietary choices now engage in vibrant discussions about food, sustainability, and community togetherness. Karen, invigorated by her change of heart, takes an active role in fostering this newfound harmony. She organizes a monthly Taste of the Neighborhood event where residents are encouraged to bring dishes that reflect their culinary traditions. Each gathering becomes a celebration of diversity, with everyone contributing their favorite recipes, vegan or otherwise. The events are filled with laughter and joy as families come together to cook, share, and learn from one another. Greg finds himself more involved too, often teaming up with Karen to create collaborative dishes that feature both meat and plant-based options. The two develop a friendly rapport, exchanging ideas and techniques while experimenting with flavors. "How about we do a veggie stuffed burger alongside my famous ribs?" Greg suggests one day, and Karen eagerly agrees, thrilled at the prospect of creating something unique that everyone can enjoy. As these gatherings continue, the community notices a shift in overall attitudes. Conversations about food are no longer contentious. Instead, they turn into opportunities for learning and appreciation. Karen shares her knowledge about vegan cooking techniques and environmental impact while others discuss their experiences with reducing meat consumption or trying plant-based meals for health reasons. This open exchange of ideas fosters respect and curiosity among neighbors. Moreover, Karen's efforts extend beyond just food. Inspired by her interactions, she initiates discussions on broader topics such as sustainable living practices and gardening. She encourages her neighbors to start community gardens, where they can grow fresh produce together, another way to connect while promoting healthier eating habits. As the seasons change, the neighborhood becomes known not only for its beautiful homes, but also for its vibrant community spirit. New families moving into the area quickly discover that this is a place where people care about each other's well-being and embrace diversity in all forms. With each barbecue and potluck, friendships deepen as barriers continue to break down. Karen reflects on how far they've all come since that initial confrontation over cooking meat. What had begun as a divisive issue has evolved into a strong bond forged through understanding and shared experiences. The harmony established in the wake of their celebratory barbecue serves as a testament to the power of empathy and open communication. As neighbors gather around tables filled with an array of dishes, from sizzling meats to colorful salads, there's an unspoken agreement that differences are not just accepted but celebrated. Together, they have created a community that thrives on connection, compassion, and the joy of sharing a meal. A true testament to what can happen when people come together with open hearts and minds.